I mean, again, doing the comic strip allowed me to create in many, many different ways. And so if I did want to create a character based on somebody I thought was very ridiculous or worthwhile or something, I would do that. I'm trying to think of that most recent example of that. I'll have to get back to you on that. So what was the question?
Oh, you mentioned creating characters for roles.
Yeah.
And in Hutch, Owen, you have Dennis Warner, the exec. How did he come about? Like, you had this story about Hutch, Owen, a homeless man, his experiences through life, and then why create Dennis Warner? How did he come about?
I think I roughly created them at the same time and didn't realize they were in the same world. And that has happened a lot since then, but never as profoundly as that, where I created in the first Hutch Owen story. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was the early '90s, and the Malcolm X movie was very popular, and so the first scene of that comic is the Dennis Warner character trying to sell some Malcolm X merchandise, and in this sinister, ridiculous tone. And I had created that as a one-pager or two a little prior to that. And Hutch Owen also was created around the same time as this complete loser who doesn't buy into any of the kind of stuff that might be represented there. And it wasn't until I realized, like, oh, the dark side and the light side. It wasn't until I realized that they were opposite ends of the consumerism pole, basically, that the world started to create itself. And at some point, I also realized I just had Star Wars on my hand, and I stole from Star Wars. I realized, okay, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, blah, blah, blah. Hutch was not Luke Skywalker, he was Ben Kenobi.
Obviously.
Obviously. There was one other thing I wanted to say about that. I may have to sort of sit here and pause for a moment because I've forgotten.
Take your time.
Maybe there was nothing else to say. Oh yeah, this is important, I think. Also, and I don't remember when I realized this, maybe early on, but I realized they're also kind of the same character, in that they're both very exuberant. They want to exist in their world as fully as possible, and they want to be vivacious and excited and busy. And Hutch, more often than not, hasn't figured out how to do that within what he's got available, but he tries anyway. And Dennis, he's on top of the world. He's a big-time advertising executive, and so he's got all the leeway to do it. And he can be as sarcastic and sinister as he wants to be, and it's all in good fun, or it's all in fun anyway. So I realized that they both, and that's the reason I think Dennis, for me personally, is a good character, and I think works well on the page too, is that he's not just a bad guy. He's this guy that wants to love life, and is loving life, and it's just that, we may not think he should live it as that way, but anyway, yeah, so at some point I realized that those characters were kind of about living life to the fullest and having different values about how to do that.
You mentioned that Hutch and Dennis both like to exist in their own worlds, and in the executive hour, which is just pretty much just one day of Dennis Warner just going to work and one of his experiences, it almost seems like he likes to exist in his world when he's not working. Where he refers to the twilight hour a lot, as right before work and right after. But then he seems just miserable while he's at work.
I know, I thought that was very funny. I don't know if he knows that or not either, right? I mean, he's the kind of guy who, near as I can tell, wants to go to work, have one meeting where he throws a bunch of ideas out and scolds some people, and everyone fawns over his ideas, which often are good, and then he goes and takes the day off. And so, the fact that there are days when he has to stay in the office, that must